Hello boxing fans, right now I'm talking about Peter Quillin versus Hassan and Jakim. Um, Starting with Quillin, he has 27 wins, 20 by way of knockout, undefeated. He's 29 years old. This is his biggest test of his career, his first world title shot. It is in his hometown. Boxing politics. Hassan and Jakim now, his opponent. He is the WBO champion, and now that Pirog has been stripped of it for getting injured, basically bitching out of his title fight with Golovkin. He is 27-0 also, 17 knockouts undefeated. 28 years old, slightly avoided in the 160-pound division. He's mixed it with slightly better opposition in my opinion. Held a few interim titles which are not world titles unfortunately. But that's what I'll give him. He's very awkward. He's a very good boxer. Look at that. Power, let's look at the advantages. Power is with Quillin, definitely. And Jakim has been dropped before, so this should give Quillin a lot of confidence in this fight. He can hurt his opponent. He does look for the counter puncher, and I think he's much better on the back foot. And this can be seen when he went on the front foot against Winky Wright, where I don't think he looked very good. He had a few issues. Maybe his attack is not as good as his defense. That's fine. Will that matter in this fight? Height and reach are both with Quillin. Very important advantage here. If these two are boxing, that could really impact on the speed and movement of Jakim. Boxing ability and styles. If you look at Jakim, this is what I see. I see him as a very similar boxer to a Jose Alusagan, right? He's very slick. He takes boxing back to its roots. He uses a jab, movement, combinations, good foot speed, good speed, hand speed, everything. He's got a lot of everything. Oh, good lord. Something just turned up in my throat. It's like that film where the ghost's creeping up the throat. That's fucking weird, that. Okay, from what I'm seeing from Quillin, yeah, he's better when he draws his opponents onto him and unleashes a counter-attack. I've not been too awed by his offense. His offensive work for me is not as good as his defensive work. But in this fight, I think he'll be a lot better off if he takes an offensive-minded approach. Because if he allows Jakim to get a bedrock of confidence and box his way in and out and in and out, it could be a very long night for Quillin. Do you understand? Looking at the speed, and they've both got very good speed, but Jakim's better. He's got better technique in terms of his punches thrown and the speed. He's a very fast fighter. You gotta look at it. He likes his combinations. He's very accomplished in the professional game for a boxer. And what he loses in one punch power, he makes up for in boxing ability. That is definitely true. Quillin's not a slow fighter by any means. He does have quick hands, quick feet. His speed's decent, but I don't think it's as good as in Jakim's. Like I said, it doesn't mean it's bad, it's just not as good as this guy's. But he's got good power, like I said. He's got the height and reach. Will that take into account for the speed? That may make up the difference, that height and reach for the speed. Movement, in Jakim, he's a very slick fighter. He can slip shots, land on the move, make a lot of opponents look silly. It's just, you only need to look at a few of his fights on YouTube to see that he's a very good boxer, a very good mover. He can stay away, he can stand, he can do a lot, he can do it all basically, but he's not brilliant. He can do it all very well, but nothing excellent. Quillin, he's a very good mover, but he can freeze every now and again. He can stand, stay, freeze, waiting for the perfect shot, and that's something Jakim's going to take advantage of. I can see that right now. If he's standing there looking for the perfect counterpunch, it's going to look stupid. And Jakim could box around him. It could be a very hard night for Quillin in this fight, because even though Jakim's not well known, he's not the very best in the division by far, he's still good. He's still very good, avoided, and that's something that people will need to watch out for in this fight. Like I said, Jakim's a lot more experienced, and he could land some shots and move out the way, rack up points, moving out of range quickly. Looking at the defensive ability, Quillin's got the advantage here, because in Jakim, he can be hurt, like I said before, and he can leave himself open. Like I said, He's quite similar to a Jose Alushkin. And that's the best way for Quillin to win, by landing that sharp counter. And Jakim doesn't have much of an inside game either, while Peter Quillin does have more of an inside game. And that's something else that he should probably try and take advantage of. He's got to put the offense on and try and make it an inside fight. Not that Quillin's a brilliant inside fighter. I would say he's average, if not that. The only thing is, Jakim doesn't have an inside game. So if you've not got an inside game and you've got an inside game, it's just the way you want to be throwing it onto him. And the last thing I'm going to talk about is the boxing politics of this fight. Now, before I get into my official prediction, I must point out that this fight, I will not be betting on it, right? Because when you're looking for boxing politics to shaft you, you've got to look out for a number of things, and a lot of them are in this fight. Number one, a foreign champion travelling to his opponent's hometown, okay? Both of these guys are undefeated as well. But Quillin makes a lot more money, and he's much more marketable than Jakim, okay? And for that reason, in a weight where there are no American world champions, as far as I can remember off the top of my head, okay? It makes a much more sense for the WBO, Golden Boy Promotions, and Peter Quillin, that he wins this fight, no matter what. And also, if you look at Jakim, will there be an outcry if the wrong decision comes out? And the answer is no, there won't be, because he's not well known. He's the weakest of the 160-pound champions. He only got this title because Pirog, vacated it. So there probably won't be an outcry. So for that reason, in my official prediction, I think even though Jakim may do enough to win, he could win the fight. I think he'll actually lose the fight, controversially, on the scorecards. So I'm going for a Peter Quillin win via either majority decision, split decision, unanimous decision, but it to be controversial.